Real football might be over, but the offseason, much like the city of New York, never sleeps. We got coaching changes, free agency, the combine, the draft, and tons more action to cover to get ready for the next NFL season. Who's going to be the next rising star? What new coach is going to have the greatest impact? What free agent is going to take your team from pretender to contender? Let us be the voice of the NFL news. As Coach Mike Dub, the real AG Alex Givens, young RG Robert Garcia, and yours truly, Coach Defense, break down everything from the NFL offseason right here on the NFL Offseason Blitz. Let's go. To all my heavy hitters and lockdown defenders, welcome to the NFL Offseason Blitz. I am your host, Coach Defense. I'm surrounded by the greatest NFL insiders this side of YouTube. To my upper left or right, depending on how you're looking at the screen, we got my guy, the real AG, Alex Givens. Some people claim that they are all good, but none of them are real. The co-host of the Lightning Fast Fantasy Football Podcast, the trenches guru, Mr. I'm in 10 fantasy leagues and I'm still winning. President of the You Can Hate Me Cause You Ain't Me Chiefs fan club. Give it up for the real AG, Alex Givens.
I was going to say, before you had that, it sounded like a golf clap. I'm trying, Coach. I'm trying, Alex.
I understand. On the opposite side of me, the young Padawan himself, none other than the degenerate gambler himself, Mr. Over-Under, King Parlay, the young Padawan himself, and card-carrying member of the Boat Gang or Don't Bang fan club, young RG, Robert Garcia is in the building. And to my bottom left or right, depending on how you're looking at the screen, if you're looking on YouTube, your bottom left, my guy, Mr. Still Your Girl himself. From the DMV. Mr. Fall Out of Bed and drop big views on YouTube. They call him Dub because all he does is win. Coaching, sports talk, and he might steal your girl if you're not watching. President of the We Back Commanders fan club, Coach Mike Dub is in the building.
Yo, what's going on?
Keep that applause going. We are live, we in direct, and guess what? We got a special guest in the building. Joining us for another live and direct offseason blitz, the salty pirate himself, the Raiders legend, the best dressed Raiders fan in all of Vegas Raider games, Captain Jack Rackham is in the building.
And I got food, baby!
And he's coming with food, We are here, we're live and direct. Right it back at you, man. As always, man, hit that subscribe button if you're watching this on any airways. We are live on Captain Jack Rackham's YouTube, NFL Nation Live YouTube, and all our platforms. Lockdown Defense Sports is always doing big things. And gentlemen, how are y'all feeling? Training camp is in the air. Some teams are practicing already. Most people have reported. So let's go top to bottom. Let's start with the young RG. How you feeling, good brother? What's going on out there?
Oh man, feeling good. We're what, a little 9 days away from an actual football game. Although it's not regular season, it's something. And feel like a damn drug addict. I need my next fix on the season. So I'm waiting for it. I'm excited.
Absolutely. The real LG, Alex Givens. How you feeling, good brother? What's going on?
I feel good, Coach. Glad to be on here with all you boys. Echo Robert's sentiments there. Chasing the dragon, ready for some football. Been trying to get my fix with college football 26. But, I'm ready for the real thing, baby.
Do it. Let's do it. Coach Mike Dub, the biggest and livest man on YouTube right now, dropping big views, falling out of bed. What's going on, good brother? How you feeling?
I'm good, man. The guy said it all. Dog days of summer. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling a lot better than those vets that got to report to camp. So,
but not better than the ones who retired.
Yeah, I know, right? The ones who looked at their roster and said, "No, I'm good."
Yeah, this is I'm good.
I gotta do what at camp?
Right.
I'm cool. Conditioning test?
Right.
We drafted who at quarterback?
We talking about practicing.
Yeah.
That part. We talking about practice.
We talk about practice, not a
Talk about
game.
300-yard shuttles. Nope.
Not a game, but practice.
Yeah.
Well, Captain Jack Rackham, now you're fed, you're nourished. How you feeling there, good sir? How you feeling?
Dude, I have not even begun to finish what's on my plate. So if you guys see me while the rest of y'all are talking, I'm going to be munching. And even when that's done, I do have my Lay's wavy barbecue potato chips. So I'm going to be eating the entire time because sometimes you got to have good food and drink with friends. So that's what we all are here for. So I'm saying this to all the crowd. Get your snacks out and enjoy the time with us. Eat, drink, and be merry. Just make sure if you're drinking that you're not driving. I'm just going to say that.
You're here.
Hey,
Legal
listen,
disclaimer there, like
in the
that.
building. We doing big days.
Yeah.
We got responsible pirate in the building. Let's do it. Let's do it, man.
Right.
But listen,
Right.
we're the fastest growing live sports talk show on the network across YouTube, bringing you the best NFL content as always. We're doing this thing independent, so we're going to give you the truth. You hear that, Saints fans? Because listen, the Saints fans have been on our back for the entirety of the last 2 weeks. Preview video dropped, and listen, they were on our head top like we're Drake and they're Kendrick. So yeah, we definitely gonna give you the truth. We're gonna tell you, bar none of what we think. You know, we're not gonna have rose-colored glasses, gold-colored glasses, and anything like that. So we're going to give you the truth. So we'll see how things go because collectively they think that they're going to be doing big things and we just don't pick up what you're putting down. So it is what it is. So distinguished panel, speaking of things related to training camp and all those things, let's get into it, man. Let's talk about our show today. Let's talk about what we're doing here. So we get into a lot of quarterback talk. We get into training camp talk. We're going to talk about the NFL toughest division. So we're going to do it live and direct. We'll get into it real heavy, man. So starting off with the idea of what training camp is and going to be, right? Let's do a quick roundup. So, as you know, we got a lot of NFL insiders part of this network. So we got the Chargers covered, we got the Commanders covered, the Chiefs and the Raiders covered. So we're going to go around the room real quick and give our synopsis of, for the Chargers perspective, that we've been in camp for a week. You know, what are you seeing? What are your expectations going forward? And what are everybody else's team's expectations going? What are their expectations going into camp? So let's start with Coach Mike Dub. Let's talk about the Commanders' camp pending here. Everybody should be in house pretty much now. You're ready to get started with practices and do some on-air stuff because everybody does the on-air stuff before they put the pads on. So, what is your expectations going into camp for the Commanders for 2025?
2 words: pay Terry. Pay Terry, and I think they're going to play hardball. You know, I'm gonna be honest. I don't see. We may be worst case scenario. He may be there first week of the season. They might play a little hardball with him, but I think there's no circumstance where he's not in a Commander uniform, where he's not solidified in the deal. We got all the momentum going. We're not going to lose it by having our superstar wide receiver, who's there with us through the tough times, might I add. We're not going to go into the season without paying him, but I do think that they're going to play a little hardball. They're going to see what they can do. But bottom line is this: pay Terry. That's one thing I'll say. That's the first thing. Get that done. We can get rolling. Second thing I'll say is there's been a lot of talk about Deebo Samuel and his conditioning.
Beef bow.
Yeah. He's gone. Him and his team have gone out the way to prove, hey, I'm not fat, I'm muscular.
I'm husky.
I'm fluffy.
Yeah.
I'm not fat. I'm fluffy.
Big bone. That's what I said growing up.
Round is a shape. Round is a shape. I resemble.
It is. Round is his shape. So he's in shape. He's just a little round. But I think a lot of eyes are going to be on, how Kingsbury uses him, how he's integrated into the offense. Obviously, the chemistry that he's going to have with Jaden Daniels. The one thing that I will say with Terry not being in camp right now is that means more reps for the other guys. We are looking for other guys to kind of step up and get that going. So, of course, that's going to be something we keep our eye on. And, of course, the defense. We made a lot of moves on the defense, trying to tighten that up, secondary specifically. Hopefully our vets, Lattimore, and some of those other guys come in healthy. Of course, we just signed a big edge rusher. Do I think he'll be the every down guy? Of course not. Probably third down, things like that. But there's a lot of excitement in Washington for the first time in a long time. For camp, we're just going to be looking, number one, are we going to get some chemistry, going with the new guys that came in? What type of ways are we going to use, some of the guys like Debo and some of the vets and things like that? And, of course, we're just trying to get out of there healthy, no major injuries, and make it to week 1.
All right. That's what's up, man. So definitely looking forward to it. And Debo's James Harden rant is definitely a talking point coming out of OTAs and going into training camp. So much like Najee's eye, we're on the lookout to see if he's in shape.
Oh, look out.
The eye of
I get
Najee.
you.
Good there.
What I did there? Yes, indeed.
Oh,
So,
man.
yes, Captain Jack Rackham, let's throw it over to you, man. What is your expectations for Raiders camp? I know a lot of things have been swirling about Christian Wilkins' health and who's on the pup list and who's not. You brought in a few people off the street in the last couple of days. So, what is your expectations for Raiders camp?
Well, actually, and I'm sorry, either it's
There
my
we go.
feed or your
Maybe
feed.
not.
It was a lot of. There was some lag in there. Sorry. My
Can't confirm.
my expectations are that again, and I've said this on so many different programs. It's gel. It's getting gel, getting the gelling going. We did bring some people in, but it's a matter of, it doesn't matter who we brought in. It doesn't matter of who's there. Actually, technically, it is a matter of who's there, because whoever is there needs to start gelling. And you did bring up Christian Wilkins, and I think the best thing that I saw recently was the fact that one of the wide receivers that is probably going to be playing for somebody else or in a practice squad or, selling hot dogs. He's a name that I don't even remember. He did have an Instagram feed of him and Christian Wilkins in the weight room. And for somebody that doesn't seem to quite get around on that foot, he was doing some, what was it, In Sync, or Boys to Men, or it was one of those old timey groups. And I say the old timey groups tongue in cheek because it's stuff that I would know. But he was bouncing around and clowning around. And first off, he better not effing get, see, I said effing, he better not effing get injured in the weight room bouncing around the music when we need him for the game. But he did look a lot better than people had professed him to be. Like, man, he's going to be out. I even said maybe he's going to be put on the PUP list and then eventually signed to the 53 and then immediately put on the IR. That can still happen, by the way. But it does look a lot better now that we've actually seen him without a boot. So, again, a lot of preparation for the Raiders because, again, new offense with a real coordinator, a great head coach, a new quarterback, a new offensive scheme. There's so much newness that the gelling needs to continue, and that's in all of those groups. No matter which group that you have, that it's the group that we say, well, that's a question mark, that's a question mark, that's a question mark. It starts here. It started in OTAs. It continues through now, and then, of course, we'll see what we got when the season starts.
Okay.
Long-winded, I know. I'm sorry.
You're good. You're good. All right. Alex Givens, what is going on in Chief Kingdom? Let's talk about what your expectations are going on for the Arrowhead Addicts and their 2025 season.
Yeah, let me just start by saying I'm pretty excited as a Chiefs fan just for this season in general, just based on how last season ended. I think there's surely going to be some added motivation, if you will, that maybe hasn't been present the past couple years just for how things have sort of played out in the season. But leading up to the start of the regular season, there's certainly a lot of questions that need to be answered, and a lot of position battles, in my opinion, are I guess confirming who will be, quote, the guy on certain spots of the offense and defensive side of the ball. So offensively, they pretty much are going to use this preseason to figure out and solidify the left side of their line. Moved on from Tooney. The plan is, the second year guy, Kingsley Sumamatea, who was a tackle, they're moving him into guard, and he'll be battling with Mike Caliendo, who's kind of been like that journeyman swing, six lineman on the roster for a few years. So, figuring out who will be the left guard. And then, on top of that, they got to figure out who's going to be their left tackle. Is it going to be Jalen Moore, who they signed in free agency, or is Josh Simmons, who they, some say took a gamble on in the first round, going to be as advertised, outside of, healthy from the injury and, top 10 caliber tackle, but for that. So exciting to see that stuff on the line and just see how that gets firmed up. And then, with the wide receiver room, obviously everyone saw the news of Rashee Rice, and there is some finality to his, legal situation off the field, but I surely anticipate there being some kind of suspension now that that is all cleared up, and what the extent of that will be is to be determined. But I would say it's got to be a minimum of 6 games, just given the circumstances and the sentence that he got. Whether some people say it was a slap on the wrist or not, I mean, he still got 5 years of probation and has to serve 30 days in jail throughout that time. So the league's certainly going to make him pay for that. So with that.
Flick, come on, Alex. It wasn't even a slap. It was a flick. Flick on the wrist, man.
That's just because nobody died, Cap. Nobody got seriously injured. Nobody died. If something like that happened, I could guarantee you there would not be a slip on the wrist.
I want to see how Caliendo does, because he's the best impressionist in the land. And his transition from being an impressionist to a guard is going to be wonderful. I can't wait to see it.
It's quite the career arc. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, with the anticipated pending Rice, suspension, you got to see, is Hollywood Brown going to be healthy, and then who will be the other guy in that rotation, anticipating Rice not being there? Is that going to be Jalen Royals? Or is that going to be Sky Moore, or one of these, few other receivers that they've kind of had hovering around the practice squad for the past 2-3 years? And then, defensively, you got to figure out what the QB or, corner rotation is going to be. Is it going to be Fulton, who they signed from the Chargers, or, one of these young guys that they took a risk on in the draft the past 2 years? And then, who are they? Who's going to be around Chris Jones on the interior of that D line? Is it going to be Norman Lott? Or are they going to let him start cooking early, or see enough out of him to trust him in that? Or is it going to be, Mike Pinnell and Mike Dana, who are, again, kind of the old vets, just, playing post defense at Lifetime Fitness for you on your basketball squad. But yeah, so a lot of exciting moves being made, I think, in terms of personnel, comparing to how this roster looked the past few years. And I'm excited to see how those get sort of confirmed as the preseason goes on.
Sounds good. Young RG, I left you for last because the Chargers are the known team that's actually in camp and had a week's worth of a team practice to talk about. So please give me your insights on what you've seen so far and what your expectations are going forward for the next week leading up to the Hall of Fame game next Thursday.
Yeah, absolutely. So kind of taking a little bit from everybody here, so I'm kind of glad you left me for last year. So I'll start with Coach Mike Dubb, when he was saying, sign Terry. Very similar. We need to sign Slater, man, and that needed to be done like yesterday. I don't know what the hell is going on with the front office and why they are dragging their feet with this. There is no debate. This team does not function without Rashawn Slater there at left tackle. So he needs to get signed immediately. I'm not even going to spend a lot of time on it, because it's pretty self-explanatory why you need him signed. So get him signed ASAP, Chargers. Kind of going on to what Captain Jack said as well about gelling. This offense really needs to start gelling, and soon. There is a lot of rookie talent coming in and looking to contribute almost immediately. You obviously have the first-round running back, Omarion Hampton, second-round wide receiver, Trey Harris. You have the fourth or fifth round wide receiver, Keandre Lambert-Smith.
Fifth.
Thank you, fifth. Yeah, so
1, 2,
I mean,
3, 4, 5.
Yeah, you have Oronde Gadsden, the sixth round tight end rookie, who a lot of people have been saying he's been impressing in camp lately. So you have a lot of young talent coming in that is going to need to mesh with this offense very early on. It seems like they have been, so that's a great sign to see. Herbert, I'm not really worried about him getting used. It's more so, can these receivers get used to him? We've seen Herbert work with guys all up and down the talent level. So I'm not worried about him at all. I mean, this guy was throwing touchdowns to DeAndre Carter against the Niners defense one week. So take that for what you will. I think the offense is definitely the biggest part of this team that needs to be addressed. I'm not too worried about defense. I think Jesse Minter and Harbaugh have that pretty under lock. But with Roman and some of these rookies, not too worried about the rookies. I think they're going to perform well, but will Roman put them into positions to succeed, early on? And then kind of wrapping it up with what Alex was saying about this division in general, I think Chargers and Chiefs fans, although it's obviously much different levels. However, I think we are both in agreement that last season ended absolutely horrible for us. So obviously, I know every other fan is happy that the Chiefs got absolutely annihilated in the Super Bowl, and I totally understand that. However, just speaking purely as Chief and Chargers fans, obviously it did not end the way that we wanted. So I think these teams are definitely hungry to get back to it. I think this division got insanely better, much better than it was last year. And there was still three teams in the division last year that made the playoffs. So that just goes to show you how difficult it's going to be. The Raiders are not going to be pushovers this year. I know Cap is probably very happy to hear me say that. I did predict them to be awful last year, and they were. I did them to get swept by the Chargers last year, and they did. But this year, it's obviously a much different team, much different coaching staff, completely overhauled offense. So it is going to be a bloodbath this year in the AFC West, and I am all ready for it.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of good things coming out of Chargers camp myself. I saw some padded practice clips earlier today, and it was
QJ.
Yeah,
Hey,
man.
man.
Because my preface was because people were high praising him because he was catching on air, wasn't being pressed, wasn't being, it wasn't in pads, it was all on air, as they call it, the underwear Olympics type of deal. It wasn't, it wasn't something that I was going to hang my hat on saying that he was going to be any different from last year. But he was in pads today, he was going against the quarterbacks today, and he looked the part like he looked in practice. So
using those hands finally, not body catching.
But they're also coming from respect when you do 11-on-11 when you actually can get hit. Yeah. That's going to be the delineation for me. So, but outside of that, what I saw from Trey Harris, what I saw from Kendrick Lamar-Smith, what I've been seeing from Ronnie Gaskins from OTAs up until now has been consistent. Mm-hmm. So yes, I'm liking what the Chargers doing offensively. Like I said, we just got to get the cohesion with the O-line together. I'm not sure. I'm still not sold on this Zion Johnson center move. So
yeah, me neither.
He didn't. I guess you could say botched a couple of shotgun snaps and things of that nature. So I'm a little leery about that. But outside of that, everything is trending in a good direction. And again, going to have extra practice time because again, playing 4 preseason games, there should be no guesswork. Only thing that concerns me is injury because you're practicing longer. But outside of that, you should have no excuses about what you have in your evaluation because you have the longest tenure of evaluation because you have 4 preseason games versus 3. So yeah, so I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. We'll see how things go from a Chargers perspective. Yeah, Cap.
May I ask, is that Gadsden you refer to, is that Aronde Gadsden's kid?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
See, I pay attention, people. I pay attention.
Who said you didn't?
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, there's a reason why you have old people in here that know who the dads are.
Truth.
And by the way, since I snuck in, let's all reflect on the fact that Phillip Rivers and his 29,000 kids officially retired from the Chargers yesterday. So salute to you, Phillip, and your 29,000 kids.
Absolutely.
Salute. There you go.
Absolutely.
Hey, that man was putting in work in the field and off the field. I cannot blame him one bit.
He work off the field. I'm just saying.
He's been the hardest working quarterback since 2004.
He ran out play action, and it wasn't because he enjoyed.
Where you think Dak got that little pregame hip thrust? Stretch from straight from Phillip Rivers' book, baby.
He got that. He got that for me in my prime. I'm just saying.
The dadgummit specialist. That's him.
I wanted to really quickly, just since you mentioned it too, Coach. Obviously, the Mike Williams retiring news kind of hit like a sack of bricks. I don't think Chargers fans are really expecting that. So just to reinforce the idea more that these young rookies need as much time as they possibly can with Herbert, because you're basically competing for the wide receiver 2 spot.
Absolutely.
It's Ladd, and then it's
everybody else.
Quinn Johnston, Trey Harris, Landry. Yeah, so it's going to be it's a very important camp for sure.
Yes. Quick shameless plug. I will be addressing the Phillip Rivers retirement and the Mike Williams retirement on the Electric Shot podcast. So check that out tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be addressing that in full detail if you want to get my full breakdown on that. But yes, definitely. I haven't watched Phillip Rivers tribute video yet, a retirement video. It might be a little bit emotional for me. We had some deaths the past couple of days. I wasn't ready emotionally to digest it because Phillip has been my quarterback for the most of my tenure as a fan. So from that perspective, I really wasn't ready for it, and I'm definitely not going to be ready when he retires. I hope he doesn't do it at a game I'm attending, but it is what it is. But, you know, seeing him retire as a Charger, seeing him, Antonio Gates, go into the Hall of Fame next week, it's a good time to be a Chargers fan. I just need Keenan Allen to come back home, and I'll be made whole. Well, you know, I'm not going to cry with spilled milk in that respect, but we'll see. Hopefully it happens. But until then, I agree. The wide receivers in the room definitely got to compete hard there for that wide receiver 2 spot. Absolutely. So, yes. So pivoting to more NFL general news. So we talked about training camp, and we get into what's the quote unquote biggest headlines in the entirety of the preseason, because we're getting to training camp, and we're starting off into camp. I think everybody should be reported by either today or tomorrow. So let's talk about it. Talk about some big hot headlines going into preseason.
Hit Squad headlines.
All right, so we're going to talk first and foremost about the quarterback that's been in the news a lot, Mr. Caleb Williams. So Caleb Williams has a new coach, and I would argue that I've been saying that he should have had an offensive coach from the beginning, but we're here now. He took him a year, but he got it. So Ben Johnson is over in Chicago now, over from the Lions, where he ran the offense and ran it glowingly, ran it swimmingly for the past several years, and the Detroit saw a resurgence. And they were on the cusp of making the Super Bowl a couple of times. I think we all can agree to that. So him being a head coach in Chicago now, I want to get the panel's opinion on what Ben Johnson is going to mean for Caleb Williams, because everybody had him touted as being the next up-and-coming thing. It was Patrick Mahomes comparisons, a lot of comparisons to greatness when it came down to who Caleb Williams could be. So to start it off, let's talk about Caleb. And give me your opinion on what you think Ben Johnson will mean for Caleb Williams. Will he be an elite quarterback under Ben Johnson's magic, I guess you can say? So I think, Alex, you're taking the lead on this.
Yes, sir. Right? That is correct.
So tell me exactly from your perspective, what will Ben Johnson mean for Caleb Williams in 2025?
I think, to start with my conclusion first, I think Ben Johnson will fully unlock Caleb Williams' potential, whatever that is, whether that's all-pro, all-caliber type QB or just a serviceable starter. I think Ben Johnson is absolutely the dude to get whatever they can out of Caleb Williams. And honestly, I think Bears fans have a lot to be optimistic and hopeful for heading into this preseason and ultimately the season. Because, I mean, first and foremost, like if you just look at what Ben Johnson has done on his resume, I mean, everywhere he is in control of the offensive side of the ball, they are super productive. I think that, I mean, every year he's in Detroit, they were in the top 5 in both yards and points per game. So, and I mean, how many all-world players can you name on Detroit's offensive side of the ball outside of maybe St. Brown? I mean, so he's able to do it with, the guys that he identifies the traits he's looking for and gets the most out of his players. If you watch the quarterback show, the new season that's out, or just watch like NFL film stuff, you can see how much of a genius he is with his scheming for defenses and drawing up new innovative plays. He's kind of like Andy Reid in that sense. I would say he does a lot wackier stuff than Reid maybe does, but he gets stuff done. So you look at like what he brings from what he's done from a resume standpoint, a lot to be hopeful with that. And then just couple that with through this offseason, it seems that, him and Ryan Poles, the GM, have been on the same page on what needs to be done to get the most out of Caleb. Like they brought in 4 new linemen that are all projected to be their starters across the line. They spent their 2 early draft picks on more offensive weapons for him. And like I said, all the tools are there to get everything they can out of Caleb. It's just to be determined what the extent of that will be. But even seeing like the reports from camp now, I think you can already tell it's been a drastic change from last year. I mean, some of that's based on Caleb's own report of like nobody told him how to watch film or what to look for, which like first and foremost, as a former football player, just baffles me that a quarterback that played at a Power 5 school and won the freaking Heisman Trophy had no idea how to watch film. but that's beside the point. But he's doing that, and then you see reports that he is on Caleb Williams' ass, pause if needed, through practice and making sure that he doesn't. I mean, he lets him know when he held onto the ball too long. He lets him know when he went to the wrong read, and I just have to think that that's stuff that he didn't get last year with a defensive-minded coach who knew he was on the hot seat and halfway out the door if they started the season crappy. So, like I said, which they did. So, like I said, all the tools are there for them to get everything they can out of Caleb, and I have full confidence that Ben Johnson will revitalize Caleb Williams, whatever that will be, just like he did with Jared Goff.
There he is. There it is. Coach Mike Dubb, what do you think about this particular situation? And if Alex is right, how long will it take?
Well, first of all, I think one thing, this is just it's funny how much of an instant age we live in. Like people talk about like Caleb Williams being fixed and is Caleb Williams, can he get right and everything. As a rookie, he threw 20 touchdowns and 6 interceptions and 3,000 yards. Now, was it, it wasn't, a Pro Bowl. It wasn't CJ Stroud the year before, but it also wasn't Peyton Manning where he threw 28 interceptions.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not like he just finished his rookie year. And people are talking about fixed and how much of a leash does he have and all these things. He'll be fine. I think he'll be fine. I think Ben Johnson is a good fit for him. But I think the most important thing is going to come down to how coachable is he going to be. And I say that because when you have a new offensive coordinator and you have an offensive coordinator that runs a specific type of offense, a specific type of schemes, there's going to be times where you're not asked to extend the play. Right, it's timing. You can't, you're not able to run around and try to be Patrick Mahomes or try to be whoever it is that you're trying to be. No, it's timing. Run the offense. It's Caleb show. The receivers have to get to a spot. Everybody else has to get to a spot. It's very specific times where there's going to be, that instance. And then there's going to be times where I'm sure he's going to let him off the leash and let him do his thing and be a little bit more creative. So as long as Caleb is open to it, which I think he will be, everything in his I guess, resume says that, he wants to be coached. He wants to be coached hard. He wants to be around people who know the game and he's willing to learn. So I think that he'll be fine. I think it may take a little while based off of the identity that they want to establish. One thing people don't give Ben Johnson credit for is how good of a run game he established.
Yeah,
that's a great point.
So the run game really is what opened up the pass game. And I've said this since last year when they went out and got all those receivers and gunslingers. That's not Chicago. Chicago is not an air it out city. It's the windy city. You get into those December months, you're not throwing for 350 yards a game. You're going to have some bruisers. You're going to have to use that, maybe the play action game, short game, whatever the case may be. So I think a lot of it is people are going to be expecting lighted up numbers, and maybe they'll have some September games where they do some things like that. The Lions had a few games where they lit it up. But overall, I think the run game is really what's going to be Caleb Williams' best asset. Maybe even using Caleb Williams in the run game and getting him active. So overall, I think it's a good fit. I think it may take some time, so they have to be patient with him. He's only going into his first year with this new offensive coordinator. But I think it will be a good overall fit. And Caleb just has to be open to the coaching, which I think he will be.
All right. Okay. Young RG, what do you think about this situation? You got anything to add? Do you share their sentiments? Do you think they're completely off base? What you got?
Yeah, I'm definitely in agreement with AG and Coach Mike Dubb here. I think this was the perfect hire for the Bears this offseason. I mean, there was no debate about that. This is like very similar to like when Harbaugh got hired to the Chargers, like just instant perfect hire. Nobody questioned it. Like, yeah, that was the perfect fit for him. You go to a division rival, so you already have that aspect in it as a Bears fan. It's like, great, we get insight to the division winners last year. Love to see that. You get a almost as young as you can get quarterback, number 1 overall pick who has all the talent in the world around him. And within him, I mean, I think we've seen in college and even a little bit in the NFL, although Caleb didn't perform as well stats wise, he definitely has a ton of talent and potentially can have a bright future in this league. This is also, taking this situation, this just goes to show how important it is for young QBs to have a solid foundation in your coaching system.
Yeah, speak on it.
I mean, T-Law coming in with Urban Meyer, Herbert coming in with Anthony Lynn, and then having to go to Brandon Staley.
Ugh.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
I mean, dude. I mean, yeah.
That's how you really feel. Coach.
I mean, dude.
Damn.
I mean, it's. There's so many times we see young QBs kind of get written off almost immediately because of the atrocious coaching staff they have behind him.
That's a
And
lot.
when Ben Johnson unlocks Caleb Williams this year and shows you what Caleb Williams can do, I don't want to hear shit about ever saying coaching doesn't matter. All right. Mahomes had Reed, Hurts has Sirianni, Lamar has Harbaugh. Coaching matters. All right.
It does.
So
It does.
when the Bears inevitably turn it around this year, and they did everything right, address the O-line, like, you know, Coach Mike Alex said, put amazing weapons around him, addressed the both offensive and the defensive line, you know, addressed the trenches, and like Coach said, this needs to be a tough nose, running the ball, time of possession team, and let Caleb feed off that play action. Let other teams force other teams to respect your running game and let Caleb do what he does best, which is sling it. And let your receivers, who you have great wide receivers and young wide receivers too. You have Luther Burden, you have Roma Dunze, you have DJ Moore. I mean, like, you got guys. And so there is as little blame as we gave Caleb last year. It is going to be all the pressure on the world on him this year.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I think Ben Johnson and Caleb going to have a lot of pressure on him because you have all the tools. I mean, you fix your O-line. The defense is ascending.
No excuses, really.
Very little. It's very little margin for error here. You got to get it right. I mean, you know, we're not saying that you got to win the Super Bowl year one, but you got to make some noise.
You got to make the playoffs. You definitely got to make the playoffs year one. I think
be competitive. You're in a tough division, so you got at least
You are. I think the Vikings and the Lions do take
step back.
I don't want to say pretty significant, but I do think they take pretty, you know, noticeable steps back this year. I think obviously with the Vikings, you have an essential rookie QB.
Yeah.
So, you know, obviously with that, you never know what you're going to get. Although
they're
I will
in the same boat as the Bears. You know,
I was just about
get out of their QB.
However, I will say opposite of the Bears, they like their weapons are secure. Their O-line is set. That defense is insane. So JJ's in a fantastic spot. And then the Lions, obviously losing both coordinators, we saw what that did to the Eagles. It matters, and it's gonna be an adjustment. I'm not saying the Lions are gonna completely fall off and that's it. They had their chance, it's over. But I do think they take a pretty, you know, sizable step back and allow, you know, the Bears to have that opportunity. Whereas last year the Bears had basically no opportunity to compete. This year that door is definitely a bit ajar for them.
Absolutely. All right. The wise one, Captain Jack Rackham. How do you feel about the Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson marriage?
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, first I'd like to give some time for the Charger fans to continue to get that puke out of their mouth by the mention of Mr. Brandon Staley. Go ahead and get rid of that puke.
Yes.
Okay.
Motion for puke is passed. Here we go. And let it out.
I would like to state that gentleman right up top, he swore, and not me on this show, ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
I didn't hear nothing.
I'm the one with the potty mouth, but that bastard up there is the one.
This is like a Southern French lawyer. What's going on? First, I thought we were down in Georgia for a second. Then I was like, is it France?
Hey, don't
gotta roll it off the tongue like sweet molasses.
I can throw a million of them out there, so you shut up, you Kansas City fool. That's all I'm saying. And lastly, because I probably have several other things to say on this jury, but I would like to say that Chicago, that great twocketing town that it is, needs to learn that you can't, like that bastard up there, the one that said the S word, he's the one that said it. You got to learn to run. You are the Chicago Bears, the land that brought you Mr. Walter Payton. May he, I had to take my hat off on this. May he rest in peace.
Absolutely.
You got to run the friggin' ball. And I said friggin'.
You did.
Another one.
You did.
Okay, you got to run the ball, and if you can't run the ball, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you're gonna lose more often than not. Now, I tell you, Chicago is going to be a better team in the NFC North. I give this to you, and there will be some step back from the other teams. Detroit lost their 2 coordinators. The Vikings are going to have that rookie J, I don't know how many J's he's got, but he's got a lot of J's in his name, McCuffey. But you got basically a rookie there. And, the Packers are better as well. I actually think, though, that the Vikings and the Packers and the Lions could be the teams like the AFC West was last year, where all 3 of those teams make the playoffs. The Bears will not, but they are going to take a step up. So, again, get your running game down. Get rid of the vomit, you Charger fans, and learn that I'm not the only one on this show that has a potty mouth. I give it to you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. The Bears will be better, but they're not going to be
good enough.
Good yet.
Okay, there it is.
Not guilty. I'm sold.
Right.
Order. I want order in the court.
Free the man. Indeed. Yes, I think we're going to see a resurgence.
Hey, the man. I told you to get that clip, Coach. I told you to get that clip.
Oh, you know what? I think I downloaded it, but I didn't upload it. I'll have it for you next time, Kevin. I downloaded it. I got it. It's up. I got it. It's up.
Hey, I didn't say it, but here's for you, Coach. Okay, there's a
I know. All right, so yes, we'll definitely see a resurgence. I'm looking at maybe a 9-1 team because I do believe their schedule is tough. Ironically, to be a 4th-place team, the schedule is pretty tough. You got to play your division games, and you're out of your division games, obviously. So they got a tough schedule, and a lot of road games that they got to play are really tough opponents. So I think outside of that, I think if they play their cards right, I think they're like a 9-win team. I would do the over under 9 for sure. So we'll see. Then I might just be outside of the playoffs, depending on what the Vikings do. But yeah, I think there's a lot to be to Alex's point. I think there's a lot to be excited about in Chicago for sure, definitely. Mm-hmm. So let's pivot to another quarterback. Let's talk about another quarterback that's gotten a new head coach as well, and there's been a lot of buzz, and a lot of fanfare. Another number 1 overall pick, former number 1 overall pick that has had some time. I guess you could say in the Justin Herbert arc, have had some rough sledding when it comes to coaching, right? So he's on a path to hopefully, have a resurgence himself. We're talking about Trevor Lawrence. So Trevor Lawrence is, there you go.
Sorry, I had to.
It was perfect. So Trevor Lawrence is on his 3rd coach. He had Urban Meyer, which was an abject disaster. He had Doug Peterson, which seemingly was there where the league kind of figured him out, and his offense wasn't clicking anymore in regards to what he had done when he won that Super Bowl in Philly some years past. So Leon Cohen, as we covered on this show in great detail, how he dirty macked his way to the Jaguars by way of Tampa Bay, is now the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So him, being the quote unquote, I think you can put in the same conversation of Leon Cohen, Kevin O'Connell, Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan being really good.
From the same tree.
Right. Ironically, right?
Oh.
They're really good about getting the best out of quarterbacks, right? So is this Trevor Lawrence's because he's on his 3rd coach at this point? Because we all look at it from a perspective that if you all these coaches come in and you can't seem to play well, it might be you, not them. So is this Trevor Lawrence's? Go ahead, Cap. What you got?
Lawrence hasn't done crap since he got Cobra Kai disqualified in the final event in California. Lawrence hasn't done crap. Okay, look it up. Lawrence went since Cobra Kai. Come on, guys.
Are you talking about the Karate Kid with Jaden Smith?
No.
I'm kidding. I know it's Ralph Machine, whatever. Machine. Pony Boy. It's Pony Boy.
Ralph Macchio.
And the guy's name was Lawrence from the Cobra Kai. You, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I think
the judge is back.
Objection.
Order. I want order in the court.
So
You can't handle the truth.
A few good men, huh? All right.
Good reference. Good reference. So yes, so Trevor Lawrence is on his third coach, and I think that if he isn't successful with this current regime, we might be looking at him in a different light outside of what he was tagged as being coming into the NFL. So I'm gonna toss this over to the young RG Robert Garcia to lead us off here. So, what is your feelings about Leon Cohen coming into Jacksonville, and what can he do in regards to fulfilling the prophecy that is Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah, so obviously Duval is the new era we're ushering in here in Jacksonville. Now, now, I don't know if Trevor Lawrence, personally, I don't think that Trevor Lawrence is that guy. I get it. He had that miraculous comeback against the Chargers in the playoffs, and that's kind of been it. I mean, he had a solid, somewhat start to the season, not last year, but 2 years ago in 2023 after that playoff game. So, it was a bit of like, oh, he's taking those next steps. The Jags maybe are going to look to be, contenders potentially for the next couple of years or so. I believe they were 8-3, like somewhere near the top of the conference. And then he got hurt, and it just kind of all derailed from there. And now we're here, where you have a new head coach. You have a completely new, I don't want to say completely new system, but basically an entire overhaul of this offense from the last time T-Law was in the playoffs. Obviously, you have guys coming in like Brian Thomas, Travis Hunter this past year, Tank Bigsby, the rookie, who I am blanking on his name right now.
Shaw Tuttle.
Shaw Tuttle, thank you, yeah. Yes. Who I know that Jags fans are really excited about. So I think that for all the flack we give Liam Cohen for the way he got to Jacksonville and, the way that whole situation kind of transpired, he did lead the Buccaneers to one of their best offensive seasons in quite a while. Definitely Baker's best season in quite a while. And I mean, he basically, you could argue, revived Baker's career in Tampa Bay because he was almost kind of left for dead after, having trips in Carolina with the Rams. So, he can definitely get a lot out of the QBs. However, what gives me some pause here is I am one to always believe that Baker was and is a better QB than Trevor Lawrence. And I just don't think he's going to squeeze as much juice out of that lemon as he can. But I truly, ultimately don't think that Cohen's going to be able to get enough out of T-Law to get them competing. The one big bright side is that they do have a relatively weak division. And I would argue it got probably weaker because the Texans did absolutely nothing to address that O-line. They, in fact, made it worse by shipping out Laramie Tunsil. So I think the Jags, obviously the Colts and Tennessee are off kind of waffling about doing whatever. So this division really does have the makings to be taken over by Cohen and T-Law. I just don't think they're going to be able to do it. I think T-Law has shown, I mean, his career high in passing is 4,100 yards. Pretty good. Career high in touchdowns was also that same year, 25. So I think he could be a serviceable QB, similar to what AG said about Ben Johnson and Caleb. I think Cohen will get as much as he possibly can out of Trevor Lawrence. It just ultimately won't be enough for them.
You got to pronounce it correctly. He's a good Jewish boy by the name of Cohen.
Oh, sorry. Leon Cohen.
Cohen. Like the Gesundheit. Cohen. Get it through your skull. Yeah, what are you?
I'm not Jewish.
What are you, Meshuggah? Okay, Meshuggah is Cohen. Cohen, Gesundheit. Say it.
Say it.
I don't know. What do you want me to do? I'm not Jewish, man.
Oh, man.
I'm not Jewish either, but I got a Jewish name. Cohen. You got to go with the ha.
Sounds like you got some Popeyes.
Right.
In there.
Sounds like he's got a phlegm.
Oh, man.
It is Cohen, by the way, but you got to say Cohen.
You got to say it like a spit on that thing.
Wow.
Bringing that back.
You're in the kibbutz in Israel. It's Cohen.
Let's get back on the rails here. Coach Mike Dove, what you got on the T-Law front? What do you think about Leon Cohen and the T-Law marriage?
I agree. I agree with everything RG said. I mean, it has to work. If I'm not mistaken, isn't he on like a contract extension with a no trade clause? You know
Yeah,
what I mean? So,
they're
Yeah,
screwed.
I don't know what his cap hit would be if they. I'd have to look
yeah,
that
so
up.
like it. I mean, it has to work. He has no. Worst case scenario, Cohen is out. Not like you know what I mean. With
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
True
so
that.
so that's just how it is. But the answer, like I said, I agree with RG. I don't think that he's a superstar, but he has all the weapons around him. If they're smart, then they're just going to load up the team and give him an opportunity to just don't wreck the car. You know what I mean? You got Travis Hunter, you got Brian Thompson, you got Tank Bisbee, you still got Etienne is still there. If they're smart, they'll load up on that defense and hey, just go manage this thing. You know what I mean? And I think that's the first time probably in his career where he will be put in that situation. But I think you put him in that situation, and he can be a Baker Mayfield. You know what I mean? He can be a guy that's just able to get over the hump. You don't have to go out and win. Just go out and manage. It's the NFL. And I think what happens is a lot of quarterbacks are so used to being that guy and going to have to win every game, going to have to be the superstar. That when they get to the NFL, some of them just aren't asked to be managers, game managers, and it takes them a while to adjust to that. To think Liam Cohen can put him in that situation. Now, roster wise, they still offensively they got the guys. I think defensively they're still going to have to do some work to get to that point on their roster to where he doesn't feel like he has to be Superman. It has to be the savior of the franchise and things like that. But overall, they're put in a position where it has to work. Like it's not like they're on a 1 year thing, and if it's not working out, they can move on. He's their guy. Cohen is their guy. At least 2 years, unless barring it being a complete other disaster, we'll probably see it. Maybe 3 years max, and we'll see what we look like. In 3 years, but. If I'm the Jaguars and if I'm Cohen, I'm thinking in these 3 years, let's build up this roster and let's make it so that he can't fail. Forget him winning. Let's make it so that he can't fail. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah,
Make it
that's a good point.
impossible for him to fail.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
a
as
Too
long as, as
big
long
to
as he doesn't
fail,
pull a Urban
as we like
Meyer,
to
he can
say
be
in
all right,
America.
right?
oh my god, anything is
Yeah.
first of all, he needs it so he should be compensated for having to deal with that whole fiasco. Like
Yeah.
that whole, you know what I mean? Like that let's take that off his record. That's a terrible, terrible, terrible. And
His career started off pretty bad,
It did.
what a way to get welcome to the NFL.
And
Right.
the first part was when that woman that looked like him flew into
Man.
Jacksonville, and everyone thought it was him. It's like
I'm telling you.
that's what I knew it was going to start off on the wrong foot right there.
Listen. I can't wait for the. I know you saw the University of Florida Netflix special or whatever. Like they need
Oh
to
yeah,
do. They need to do just one
that was
season.
watered down.
Yeah. Oh, it was. They
Yeah.
left out a lot.
Urban had final cut in that one
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, you did.
Hey, you
Hey,
need
take
to
that
tell
out.
me about that because I'm a Florida grad, so
It's on
I don't
Netflix.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
Swamp
Yeah.
Kings.
Swamp Kings on
Okay.
Netflix. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't got Netflix. I might have to get it. I apologize. You said UF, and my ears picked right up.
Oh,
Okay.
look.
Okay.
I say that because I want to see a behind the scenes documentary of that season just to get some good laughs and just to feel, you know what I mean? Just to figure out what went
Really
on in
went
football.
on. Yeah, I agree
what
with
went on.
that. I
But
agree with that.
I say all that to say, Trevor Lawrence, he's been dealt a rough hand as far as, situations go. But, if Cohen does anything, just put him in a situation where you can't fail. This thing has to work. He's your quarterback. You're the coach. You'll be out before you will be.
Good point. Like you said, just don't wreck the car. I
Yeah.
like that analogy. Just don't wreck the car.
Yeah.
All right. Real AG Alex Givens, what you got over there for us in regards to what you think about T-Law and Leon Cohen?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what everyone else has said, and don't need to rehash all of that. But to Mike Dubb's point, he did sign a 5-year, $275 million extension with $200 million guaranteed, and his dead cap hit in 2026 would be $88.5 million. So to echo what you said, unless we see a Russ Nathaniel Hackett type pairing for Jacksonville, I think, it's going to have to work for financial reasons alone. So I think there will be some patience to it. But you do have a rookie head coach with a relatively unproven quarterback. So it could as easily go off the rails as well as it could be successful, in my opinion. But kind of like we were saying with Caleb Williams, I think really there are no more excuses for Trevor Lawrence at this point. Like, you've gone through 3 coaches. The first one, total wash. I guess 4 really, because you had an interim coach, your rookie year who didn't have any idea what to do with you. And then they thought they got an offensive minded coach, but like you said, he was washed up or figured out. So now you have the
interim.
the youthful, recently productive offensive coach coming in to hopefully revitalize things. He has a pretty solid supporting cast. They put some money into their defense and, spent early draft capital to put more pieces around them. So really there are no excuses. If they don't see a significant jump or improvement this year, I think it's just a matter of when, not if, on Jacksonville moving on from them, because at this point there really can't be any hope if there's not improvement in 2025. But the other side of it too is, I think that, as much as the pressure will fall to Lawrence and Cohen, he's going to have to get everything he can out of Trevor Etienne and their run game too, because that's what made, like we talked about with Chicago, but that's what made Cohen's Bucs offense so good, because they went from 4th worst in the NFL to 1st, with Bucky Irving and Rashad White. So he's going to have to unlock that potential too, or in my opinion, it'll probably all be doomed, because at this point, Trevor Lawrence is just people are remembering what he was in college and the guy that didn't lose since his sophomore year of high school, and now he's just he's just a jag at this point.
Literally, just another guy.
Yeah.
There you go. I like that. Now, before I throw the cap, I will say that the only thing that really concerns me, much like it does concern me for the Chargers a little bit, the internal O-line. They got Walker Little at left tackle. They got Anton Harrison, where they drafted at right tackle. But that interior O-line, they're a bunch of JAGs.
Got Ezra Cleveland. He's all right, but he's old.
Exactly.
Older.
Exactly. And you got Patrick McCarry, who came from Baltimore, and Robert Hainsey, who I don't even know who that is.
This guy here is dead.
Right.
We'll cross him off.
Right. Some of you guys never had a prime. So, yeah. So I'm a little concerned about the interior line personally. But Cap, do you got anything to add before we move on to our next topic regarding to Trevor Lawrence?
I think didn't Hainsey come from the Tampa Bay Bucks? Because that name sounds familiar.
He might have. I'm looking now.
We're fact checking that right now.
And like I said, the man Cohen.
That is correct, Cap.
See, I just grab it from up out of my tuchus. There's another tuchus. Okay, you got to say tuchus.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to say, you got a good offense in the making in Jacksonville. But unless that defense does something as well, you're going to lose like the Chargers used to with Fouts. You'd score 38 points and you'd lose 40-38. Yes,
right.
It was a great dig, and yes, I applaud myself in pulling that out of my tuchus as well. But no, Cohen did a very dastardly dirty deed in Tampa. So I don't know if the Bucs play the Jags anytime soon, but that's going to be a fugly meeting, and I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Go ahead. Really quick, I will say, if there's anything for Jags fans to have, hold on to hope or hang your hat on this year, you do have the 6th easiest strength of schedule this year. So if there would ever be a year for Cohen to come in and completely turn this team around,
and your division's up for grabs.
Your division's up for grabs. Yeah, this has to be the year. If you don't do something this year, it might be over before it even started in Jacksonville.
Good point. Okay.
Yeah. And then I will say that their owner.
That's what I was about to say, Gab. Their owner's enough of a wild card, he might just cut ties.
Yeah.
Saudi billionaire, he's like, no, you're done.
That's it.
I'll eat 88 mil.
Yeah,
I wipe my ass with that. Get out of here.
Oh, another one. I swear, and I have not dropped one because the one.
Oh, I said ass.
Yes, I was
Sue me.
I'm just saying, you guys are potty mouths on this show. My
the audacity.
Right.
The
naive.
Back to what AG was saying, he doesn't care because he has his thoughts set on his soccer team that he has more money in.
That's another great point.
Which is another reason why that the Jags always have those games in Europe.
Overseas, yeah.
Because of that market. He can give a flying foxtrot what goes on there.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay. So we'll see. We'll keep monitoring this as well. We'll be covering everything throughout the season. So we'll see exactly how Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams do, as well as Liam Cohen, the Dirty Mac himself, and Trevor Lawrence do in Jacksonville. So we'll see how things roll. But like y'all guys said, the division is wide open. We're not sure what the Texas O-line is going to look like, how they're going to gel. They do have a lot of weapons out there in Texas, and their defense is elite.
With a great coach.
With a great coach. So I will say they still have the leg up, but everybody else is kind of a wild card. So yes, I would argue that they definitely can make a move with that screen for schedule. So we'll see how things shake. But yeah, I think that Trevor Lawrence is on. The pressure's building. That's all I'm gonna say. The pressure's building for sure. For sure. All right, so let's get into our last topic of the day. Let's talk about NFL divisions real quick. There's a lot of competition out here. A lot of divisions have gotten tougher. We've talked about the resurgence of the NFC North. We've talked about the AFC West. The NFC West is coming back. The AFC North is always a bloodbath. Even I would argue the NFC East now, with the Commanders coming back into the fold, is talking. There could be a lot of dog fights in that division. So let's talk about who we think in this particular realm of division talk. Who is the division, or what division has the least margin of error? So if you get off to a slow start, who is going to be out of the running early? So let's start with our guy, Coach Mike Dub. Let's talk about the NFC or AFC division that he thinks has the least margin of error. And if you don't get started early, you don't win games early, you might be looking at the draft by the bye week.
Yeah, so we mentioned it earlier. We talked a little bit about these divisions, and it really came down to two divisions for me. One on the AFC side, one on the NFC side. I think we probably both know AFC West is the strongest on the AFC side, but I feel like the NFC North is a little bit less room for error. And the reason why I say that is because I think there's more parity in the NFC, to where I feel like the AFC is a little top heavy. So say you don't win the division, you get a wild card spot. There's more of a chance of you getting a wild card spot, in my opinion, based on some of the teams that I've seen in the AFC. I think there's a lot more mid-level teams in the NFC. So for that reason, I think the NFC North is going to be one of the toughest divisions. Yes, I do think the Lions take a step back. I actually feel like the Vikings will be either just as, or if not, maybe even better than last year. I've heard good reports out of McCarthy. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say it. Like, we've all seen the moves they made on their roster. It's gonna come down to the quarterback situation. I like McCarthy. I like what I saw from him in Michigan. I've heard pretty decent reports, from minicamp. Obviously, that's just minicamp, so we'll see how training camp goes. But even if they remain the same, like obviously we said, Detroit's going to be a little bit step back. I feel like losing their coordinators, but I think Green Bay got better, and then obviously Chicago, they're going to be right there. So it's going to be tough. I think definitely you're going to have to get out to a tough start, because they're going to beat up on each other throughout the season. And then also you have to think about some of the other NFC teams that'll be creeping up in there. You mentioned the NFC East, 2 or 3 teams that may be pushing there. The NFC South, you never know, 2 or 3 teams that may be pushing, with Carolina coming up and Atlanta, you never know what you're going to get from them. So you might find yourself, if you're not winning the division, in much more of a dogfight than you thought for that wild card spot, because there's a lot more teams and a lot more parity in the NFC. I feel like AFC, I do feel like overall the AFC West is a tougher division, just because those 3 teams at the top. Denver, I think, is going to look good. Kansas City, of course, LA, Vegas they'll be competitive as well. So, but like I said, based on the actual conference, I feel like you got to win this thing, or it's going to be a dogfight all the way through. I really wouldn't be surprised if all 3 teams made the playoffs, but it's not going to be easy. So I'm looking forward to see what kind of pressure is put on the team that doesn't come out firing.
Okay. Young RG, what is your opinion on who has the toughest division or toughest road and least margin of error for the AFC or NFC teams in 2025?
Yeah. I'm pretty much echoing exactly everything that Coach Mike Dub said. I mean, to a T. I think the NFC North is by far the most brutal division, most division with least margin of error, most division under pressure. However you want to look at it, it is going to be the NFC North. I think out of all the divisions, all 8 divisions in the league, that is the only one where all 4 teams have a legitimate and realistic shot to make the playoffs. Obviously, now with the addition, recently added of the extra wild card spot, it now allows an entire division to make the playoffs, which a lot of people kind of seemed upset about that when it first came out. I think that's amazing because I think if every team in a division plays up to a playoff caliber, they should make the playoffs. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think that out of all the divisions, especially in the NFC, that one has the clear highest possible chance for all 4 teams to be either in the playoff picture or around the playoff picture come the end of the year. And then just echoing once again, like you said about the AFC side, I mean, it has to be the AFC West, not even trying to introduce any bias here. So I'm glad Mike Dubb went first with it, the only AFC West, non-AFC West fan here.
I heard him, DZ. I heard him. I'll get him later. I'm going to kick his butt.
I feel like the AFC West by far, has that similar to the NFC North, where all 4 teams, I'm sure Cap will hate me for it. I think the Raiders, as much improved as they will be this year, and it will be a huge improvement. They have a good team building there. I just don't think they're going to have enough to take that step forward in front of either the Chargers or the Broncos. I'm not even going to say Chiefs because, like I mentioned, when you win the division that many times in a row, you just got to kind of give it to them at this point until they don't. So I think, however, I do think because the Raiders are going to be significantly better this year, that makes it harder for the Chiefs because it's not just 2 free wins anymore. And it'll make it insanely harder throughout the entire division because, Chargers are not going to sweep the Broncos and the Raiders again this year. It's just not going to happen. There's too much, like again, what Coach Mike was saying, too much parity, too much unknown. So yeah, I had to just completely agree with that. It's going to be the NFC North and right behind it, the AFC West.
Okay. Captain Jack Rackham, what do you feel like has got the toughest division in the league and who had the toughest, where the least margin of error?
Here, Robert, put your mug right.
Yeah. Hit you with the crane. Hit him with the crane, Cap.
There you go. Uppercut. Finish him. There you go.
Body blow.
AB.
I will Mr. Miyagi your ass.
Show me paint the fence. Show me shine the floor. Anyway. Hey, don't do Miyagi on me, man. I got that stuff. Okay. Anyway, I was gonna say the parity in every division, either that there are teams that are just woeful all the way around, where you don't really know who's gonna win. I mean, or the divisions that are tight. Yes, the Raiders they're not quite there, but if they catch a few breaks, they're not going to be in 4th this year. I mean, like I said. It could be somebody else, but we're not quite there yet. I definitely have. I said this on the last show. I think the Broncos win the division, but that's just me.
They're going to be tough. I'm not going to sit and act like we just going to walk all over them. They're going to be tough.
No,
but I mean the parity. You got like you said, every division is either you got a lot of teams that are just great, or you like the division with the. Well, you said it with the Jags, the Texans, and was it the Colts?
AFC South? Yeah, Titans.
I mean, anybody can win that division. It's a coin flip. So it's really you can, because those teams would be so woeful that if you really just get out there and suck testicles. See, I even caught myself there.
Wow.
Pause.
Yeah.
If you do that, you don't know who's going to win. So again. It's kind of hard to say because again, I think the NFC East, with the Commanders. By the way, what's your take on that? Give me the Redskins or give me death type of talk. I figured I'd bring that.
Listen, we'll get into that later.
Hey, I'm controversial and I'm fun, so you got it with you. Okay.
I got an opinion.
Okay. Yeah. But like I said, the way if you come on out, I will go across the board. I know this is not the answer you're looking for, but I'm saying if you come on out in any division because they're so tight from top to bottom, every division, if you come out sucking testicles, you're down. Just gonna say it. It doesn't matter. If you come out bad. I mean, if this was baseball, you would be looking to get rid of your roster at the trade deadline. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, go on. Yeah, so and I think the only team that we really are really completely down on as a group is the Saints. Everybody else has hope at this moment. 31 out of 32 teams have legit hope. The Patriots have hope now.
Do the Browns have hope?
Oh, good point.
More than the Saints.
Let's go one team in each conference.
One team
post Judkins news. Yeah, they have no hope.
Yeah,
no.
There we go.
Yeah.
It is over, and the season hasn't started yet.
Yeah, good point. So the Browns
they've been mathematically eliminated, and it's the 22nd of July.
Yep. Right.
Exactly. The Browns are actually already on the clock for 2026.
Right. The Saints and the Browns are on the clock right now, 1 and 2. Okay, but I'm gonna jump in here before I throw it over to AG. My thing about the AFC West versus the NFC North, like it's a very tight battle in regards to who has the toughest battle, right? I would argue that because of the quote unquote lack of changing and the changing of the divisions, it really is a coin flip for me who has the toughest road. Because if you look at from top to bottom, the AFC West has the best coaching division in the league, bar none.
Mm-hmm.
Bar none. Now, and that's going to result in more wins for the Raiders than we think, because they're going to be well coached.
The Raiders are going to have the greatest plus differential of wins this year over last year than any team in the AFC West.
If you're a betting man, whatever the over-under is, bet the over for the Raiders. I agree with that.
No, see that I wouldn't.
You're not going that far?
I mean, because the thing is they got
that's
7.5.
Right.
They got 7.5, and that's tricky. Now, if they had 6.5, I would bet the over anytime.
If it was 5.5 or 6, I would bet it. I agree with you there.
But the point is that with 4 wins last year and with 7 to maybe 8 wins this year, that's a +4 differential. Yeah. Nobody else in the AFC West is going to have a +4.
You're absolutely right.
Differential.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So
it's going to be very similar.
15-2. So I mean,
man, you are smoking things as a lawyer, man. You better get your license looked at.
Well, hold on now, Kev. That ain't.
15.
We don't be joking about that.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, that lawyer over there needs to be debarred. Disbarred and unbarred and every other type of bar you can throw at
rebarred.
Rebarred. That's funny. That's funny. But yes, that's the only thing that kind of gives me pause about the whole idea that one would be better than the other and have the least margin of error, because I feel like if either one of those divisions teams, anybody in those divisions will get off to a slow start, you're going to be looking, up, you're going to be looking uphill, ice skating uphill possibly. It really could be that bad. Because again, if you got to play 6 games in your division, all those are going to be tough. And then I believe both divisions have to play tougher divisions out of division. So I think it's going to be rough road for either one of those divisions. So it's literally 1A, 1B for me. But AG, what do you got to wrap this up? Who do you think has the toughest division from your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everyone's assessment. I ultimately think it's. I mean, between the AFC West, NFC North, just with how competitive the teams will be top to bottom. So I'm not going to say the same stuff everyone said about them. But, I think the NFC East could be a tough one too. That's kind of being slept on just because obviously you got the Super Bowl winning Eagles. I'll give them their praise there. You got the Commanders who were resurgent last year and almost, went to the Super Bowl. Cowboys always have a pretty solid roster. It's just a matter of how healthy and in their own way they get. And nobody's won the NFC East, back-to-back years for 20 plus years. So, I think with just how good all 3 of those rosters look, Giants aside, they're already 4th. That's locked in. But 1 through 3 could be a little. There could be a lot of parity in that too, or a small margin of error. And then another one I would note is the NFC South for the reverse reason of the fact that I think every team in that division will get in their own way to win it. From how bad they'll all be. So
Hey, man.
That's funny. That is funny. So yeah, I think we all are bullish on the NFC North. The only thing that gives me pause is the coordinator loss in Detroit. What Jason McCarthy is going to be, and what not Trevor Lawrence, but Caleb Williams and Bill Johnson are going to be to each other.
I would like to think, though, just from the Vikings, O'Donnell and where they were at is not our O'Connell. I mean, they're not going to move on from Kurt or not have another plan if they didn't like what they saw in JJ before he got
That's a
hurt.
great point. That's a great
Because I
point.
mean, they were like, solidified NFC North champions until they moved on. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the thing. Like people forget, as good as a season Darnold had last year, he wasn't even in the talks of starting until McCarthy got hurt.
Good
So
point.
that means like whatever happened in camp or whatever happened up until that point, McCarthy outplayed him.
Yeah, there it is.
I just had to get that point out, Coach. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
I wanted to
you good?
really quickly too, since we're talking about Sam Darnold. I just did the Seahawks video before this, so totally brushed up on my Sam Darnold knowledge. First things first, obviously, like super happy that he got his money. I always loved, kind of like similar to Baker, when somebody gets kind of labeled as a bust very early on and they're able to make that resurgence, get that contract. You always love to see that. This is a brutal league, and anytime a guy can come in here and get that paycheck, you're always rooting for him in that regard. However, that situation in Minnesota was quite literally perfect for Sam Darnold. For him to have that resurgence of a season. You have arguably, and maybe it's not so arguably, the best receiver in football. A serviceable. Not a lot of debate there. Some people take Chase. You can mix and match, whatever. I think he's the best, and it's not even close because he's been doing it with ass at QB. It's just straight ass at QB the last 4 years. So take that for what you will. Jordan Addison is a very nice number 2. TJ Hawkinson, Aaron Jones, great O-line, great defense. Brian Flores has those guys flying. I mean, it was all set up for him, and that's why they won 15 games. So if you're a Vikings fan and you look at it, you're like, oh, well, if we did that with Sam Darnold, what's to say, what are we going to do with J.J. McCarthy, our first-round, second-year player, technically a rookie? I think that, Vikings fans are, maybe other people outside looking in aren't too, bullish on them. But I think the Vikings fans, definitely, they're very confident in this team. And, hey, sometimes confidence can get you very far.
Agreed.
Donald is not going to have that soup in Seattle. I'm telling you.
Oh,
that.
hell no, he's not. Watch my video, Cat, please. I beg you. You're going to see Sam Darnold is going to get absolutely torched in Seattle. It is not going to be good.
Okay. Well, we'll definitely see. I'm curious because they got a really, buttoned up defense over there. They got a defensive coordinator as a head coach. So the defense should be straight. The offense is going to be the one that's going to tell how good they are. So, and they're not in the South Division either. I think that outside of the Cardinals being a wild card, we saw AG's video earlier today in regards to what the Cardinals may or may not do. But I think the 49ers are going to be legit almost soon when they worked out the wide receiver situation. And the Rams is their division to lose. And, of course, Seattle's right there as well. So it's going to be interesting.
Niners got the easiest strength of schedule this year. I mean, hey,
exactly.
It's going to be.
I think the Cardinals will be better than Seattle. I mean, Seattle doesn't have Geno Smith anymore. And yes, I'm not trying to sound biased, but Geno pulled a lot of those wins out of his Tajas. Say it for me, Tajas. And they're not gonna have those wins with Darnold. I'm sorry, he's not Geno Smith. He can't move like Geno Smith. And Geno Smith is not very well known for being dexterous, or if that's a word. But I'm just saying it ain't happening.
We'll allow it. We'll allow it.
Yeah.
Okay, well there you have it. I definitely think that if Sam Darnold does not do well, then that if Minnesota season was an outlier, and we knew what we had when he was with the Jets and the Panthers. So it is. And in that case,
congrats on making your money, big bro.
Hey, get it while you can.
Hey, get it while you can.
Exactly. In that Kirk Cousins arc.
Yeah. Hey,
right?
You know what NFL stands for? Not for long.
That's a fact. All right. Then we did it, fellas. It is done. We are through our topics. Does any final words, any things, any go backs that you got? Do you want to broach to the audience before we get up out of here?
I'll just say when you guys said something about Hainsey or whatever, I thought you were going with Hainsworth, and I almost flipped out. Albert Hainsworth.
PTSD there, huh?
Oh my God!
Is that a
Go ahead, Mr. Jury. Coach, you can
Wasn't he
throw
the first guy to get
$100
$100
out of
million?
your mouth, $100 million out of your mouth, Coach. Go ahead and throw up.
Listen, he's oh my God. It's still to this day. Was it 20 years ago? And I'm still going through it. Like, oh God. I heard Haynes and I was like, nope, not doing it.
Now you can just go to any high school and find a Haynesworth type D tackle
Oh, yeah.
now. You know, it's
Oh
like
yeah.
being 6'6", 350 is pretty common these
It's
days.
pretty
Back
common.
then, it was
Yeah.
like give him $100 million.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's another one that cashed out early because he had that one good year in Tennessee, and he cashed out with the Redskins at the time. Now the Commanders. So yeah,
Oh, there's a lot of
there's
them.
a lot of. Yeah, get that contract year going, and you ball out, and all of a sudden you're done after that. So yeah, we're sorry.
Bring back Dexter Manley, man. He can't be any worse than Haynesworth is, and Dexter Manley's probably my age.
Listen, there's a whole bunch of guys from that era I love to bring back, but
Yeah.
I was just gonna say before that probably the next time we're doing a live show, we'll actually have football to talk about. Preseason games will be concluded, so we're almost there, y'all. We're so close.
We're getting there. So yeah, just to give you a quick rundown of the channel, we're doing the NFC West preview this week. We're wrapping that up. Like I said, AG's video for the Cardinals came out today. Roberts will be out tomorrow for the Seahawks, and then we got the 49ers and the Rams to wrap up the week. Next week, we're doing the AFC West. Apropos, we brought them up and we talked about them in glowing fashion. So AFC West will be next week. And then we'll start getting into our preseason coverage. We'll talk about the preseason in its entirety. The NFL Insiders, as you can see here, we'll all be doing coverage regarding their teams and the NFL Insider news leading all the way up into the regular season, where we'll be going live each and every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on this channel, bringing you our new show, our new live show for the NFL season. So check that out. Hit that subscribe button as always. Let everybody know we're doing good things out there in the YouTube land. The Hit Squad is here. We're going to be here all summer, bringing you hard-hitting and great coverage for the NFL. Like I said, we're going to be running right into the NFL season. Like I said, I'm available on this channel and on the Electroshock podcast for the Chargers. So hit us up there. All the links are in the bio for this video. Captain Jack Rackham is going to be here. He is our proponent and our supporter for the NFL Nation Live staff and the Lockdown Diva Sports Network. We appreciate his contributions, and he will be here as much as he possibly can. We appreciate him doing his thing as well. And check him out on his channel. As you can see, his name is his YouTube channel, Captain Jack Rackham. So give him a quick subscription and follow as well, and follow on all social media platforms. And if you're looking for the Hit Squad in its entirety, here are their socials. So we'll get that out there real quick. Most guys are on X and Instagram. Robert is on X only. Captain Jack Rackham is on Twitter and on Instagram. I think he's more of an Instagram guy than Twitter, if I'm not mistaken. Cap, is that right to say? You're more of an Instagram guy? Okay, he's more of a Twitter guy. Okay,
somebody, cool. It's too dark. Yeah, sundown. We got to get Cap off.
Hey, watch that racial stuff on here saying sundown on this show, man.
Oh, no, we're not that.
We've had entirely too much language and profanity, and now you're talking racial stuff. You
was not
that as a lawyer. Stop it. Those
are purely G-rated intentions with my sundown. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Down. You turn different to a different person when the sun goes down. That's what he's saying.
I was calling you a gremlin, whatever.
Right.
Yeah,
you turn into a different person.
The sun goes down, you turn into an angry Jewish man. Just saying took this.
Yes, indeed.
That needs to be a sound.
And if you're looking for the Lockdown Diva Sports Network, you can follow us on all our social media channels. We're here in pretty much every platform that you can think of. And we also have our Gmail address if you need to shoot us an email. Please drop us a line. Like I said, hit that subscribe button as always, man. But until then, we'll be back next month for our last preseason live show, and then we'll follow right into NFL season. We'll start going live each and every Tuesday for you. So, but until then, that is Real AG, Alex Givens. That is Young RG, Robert Garcia. We got Captain Jack Rackham in the building. Coach Mike Dubb is here. I'm Coach Defense. Until we see you next time on this live direct show, we'll see you when we see you. Step up and lock it down.